you. You gotta know that I meant it when I said that I liked you. Or maybe just the idea. I bought it, the one and I return the shit like IKEA. Apologize, I'm not a mind reader. I need attention, so I try to be a crowd pleaser. It was easy till it got a little deeper. Now I don't know how to deal with you, so I'm a disappear. I'm a ghost. Now you see me, now you don't. I'm a ghost. Every time you hit the phone. I'm a ghost. Now you see me, now you don't. Hey, I know it's inconvenient to change your background, but let's back down so you can see this is a problem I don't want to put myself in front of. That's why I blocked you, cause I'm not the guy you should rely on, spy on, creep on. I don't know, you just ain't that type of hoe. If I don't holler, let me go. I should have said it, but I didn't, and I won't. I'm a ghost. Now you see me, now you don't. I'm a ghost. Every time you hit the phone. I'm a ghost. Now you see me, now you don't. Call, but best believe I got the message. Why don't you just leave me alone? I think it's lasted way too long. I thought by now that you would know, but since you don't, I'm a ghost. Now you see me, now you don't. I'm a ghost. Every time you hit the phone. I'm a ghost. Now you see me, now you don't. Open, living for the night like it is golden. Yeah, I came knowing I'm never folding. I just wanna dance among the stars.
Got it. Let us check if all are able to hear me quickly. 1 second, folks. Perfect. Hi, everyone. How is everybody doing? Let me turn the chat on. Folks, are you all able to hear me and see me clearly? Yes, no in the chat? Yes, no in the chat. We're waiting for slightly more number of people coming in. I think we have got quite the audience. Is the call supposed to start? No, it's not supposed to start 10 minutes late. We keep a 5 minutes buffer. And yeah, perfect. Thank you so much all for joining in on a Wednesday evening. We are going to be here for next 60 minutes, and I'll take you through what we are here to do, right? 1 second, I'll just share my screen. Would be better if there was some, okay, that's what we are here to do. Okay. Here's my screen. Let me know if you all can see it. Perfect. Are you all able to see my screen as well? Let's get right into it. Right. The chat should be on. You guys can text in yes, no quickly so that we are all set and all together. So today's session is specifically for everybody who wants to become an AI native engineer. Now, this is something that we have been dabbling around for quite some time, right? And we have sort of spoken to a lot of people, a lot of masterminds that we have hosted. I think a lot of you have already been part of it, right? So we thought, let's go deeper and understand how is the world order changing in terms of engineering fields, engineering domains, and how is basically can someone become an AI native engineer? And yes, a few more details that will come to you. So we can give you a few things. One is exact step-by-step process of how do you become one. Second is how actually companies are adopting. So a few examples that you can take back, you can look at and say, oh, this is something that I could solve for as well in my own organization. And the third is real stories of what kind of people are building what kind of products and how it is impacting them, right? That's what we are here to do. And yeah, and there is one more final thing that's a bonus. A lot of you asked for something in most of the masterminds. We have hosted about close to more than 70 sessions of engineers mastermind, and there was one request that was consistent across, and we thought to make it possible, right, which I'll share towards the end of it. So welcome everybody once again, and today we are going to go deep dive into roadmap to become an AI native engineer. You already know we are Outskill. We are the world's first and largest GenAI education platform, and we live and breathe one thing: AI. And our education purpose towards education is to reach 100 million people globally by 2028, and teach them AI and contributing towards building the next generation of workforce from India, right? And if you don't know yet, I think you might have seen me in most of all the sessions, right? My name is Om Asnani. I'm head of AI for engineers category. I'm also founding member at Outskill. Have trained almost 100K tech professionals over the last span of 2 years, and I'm actively building and developing AI products and helping companies adopt AI, right? And I'm going to take you through this and a few more things. I think definitely we have been awarded as one of the top mentors by global platforms, TopMate, IDP list, and a few more. This is me helping companies adopt and train on GenAI stack. And let's see how we can help you guys today as well. So once again, today's agenda, we'll keep it very crisp and clear. We'll be here for almost 45 to 60 minutes. And yes, there'll be time for questions as well. The chat will be continuously on, but it will be kept to host and co-host so that I can sort of read each one of your questions, and there's very minimal disturbance there. We have very small number of people. We have less than 200 people, about 270 people. Is it only for working professionals? Give some time. We'll come to that, right? So once again, first thing, we'll spend time on roadmap to become an AI native engineer. We'll go from beginner level to intermediate level to advanced level. What is there in each of it, and how do you position yourself as that? Second is case studies, how companies are adopting AI. And three is what are the AI solutions built by engineers and how they think, what is their impact in the full thing, right? That's what we're going to talk about. Now, a few things which we already know, a very quick recap from the mastermind, right? Most of you attended mastermind? Yes, no in the chat. Were you all present and available in the mastermind? You went through with us in sprint zero. Everybody with me? Can I get 174 yeses in the chat? Because that's the audience that we invited. So most of you, 99% of you should be yes. And also, but okay. Folks, keep on typing yes, no very quickly. This is also for me to check if everybody is with me, listening to me, hear me. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Perfect. The big shift in engineering, the world of engineering is already being rewritten. We are seeing AI not only generate code, but at the same time automate workflows and most importantly, shifting the expectations in hiring. And we are seeing this not only across one, but multiple roles. Every engineering role is being impacted, be it data, be it QA, be it front end, be it back end. And no matter who you are, from any, if you have any relationship with any tech field, any tech roles, you are one of them, right? Even if you are in techno functional roles. The 2 days that you went through with us, right? We told you that's sprint zero, which is was your first step towards becoming an AI native engineer, thinking like it, and with a few more resources which came to you, like for example, the recordings of Mastermind, the list of tools, the code base that mentors used. I'm hoping that you might have, sort of took advantage of that and did that, right? But let's very quickly go through each of the role and come to the roadmap very quickly, right? Universal impact is that every role is being impacted, starting with a backend engineer who's now shifting into becoming an AI workflow orchestrator, right? Who is an AI workflow orchestrator? What exactly they are doing right now? AI workflow orchestrators are people who are designing RAG pipelines, retrieval augmented generation, who are also building LLM powered microservices. At the same time, are the ones who are integrating prompt templates, generating these system prompts with vector databases, and setting up those embedding API so that the right retrieval can happen with help of the data that you provide to LLMs. Right? How do you keep your data secure? How do you build your own RAG in your own company? And something that you can use for, and sort of definitely is more compliant than any other open tools that you use, right? And there are a few examples as well, right? But I'll share the case study, so we'll not go deeper into that, right? And something that we have spoken about. The second rule is QA testers, right? Who are now becoming AI test agent designer, right? What does that exactly mean, right? What exactly they are doing is using LLMs to auto generate test cases. Also, at the same time, deploying and building AI agents to monitor test environments. For example, if your website, if your product, if your platform is live, making sure you have an agent that is always doing this testing and understanding what if something is going wrong or not, and if that happens, you get an update, and before even it goes live, it does multiple checks and balances, like how exactly you would do manually with your fingers on your keyboard, right? And also at the same time, you are the ones replacing regression test with scenario simulation via agents, right? Third example, data engineers, right? The best example that is already available. I think if you know, how many of you have used Perplexity already? Should be almost everybody, but just a quick check. How many of you use Perplexity daily or have used at least once? Just type in the chat, have used or I use daily, whatever, one of them. If not, you can say I have not even looked at it. Used, have used. Yes, okay. Have used, have used. Okay. So Perplexity as a model, Perplexity as an LLM is known for its research, right? Every LLM is good at something. For Perplexity, it is their research. And how exactly that is built is a team of data engineers who have now trying to become, or sort of have already in our field, become a retrieval and embedding architects. They are the ones who have set up their semantic search engine in a way that can do embeddings, that can do chunking, and can do faster retrieval systems through internet available data, and can understand numbers, facts, and sort of studies better than a lot of other models, right? What exactly data engine is doing right now in an AI first world is building these semantic search systems instead of just basic ETL pipelines. Also, you are the one making sure that chunking logic, how exactly a data is to be given to an LLM, is going to be set, how these vector pipelines are going to be built, and how do you set up these retrieval based MCPs and API systems, right? The next one, which is DevOps, or you might have also heard now a new term called LLM Ops or AI Ops specialist, right? DevOps has been known for making the systems running and up all the time, right? Now, what exactly that's happening in an AI first world is you are now creating auto scaling alert resolving LLM agents, right? When the systems are scaling, when the systems are running, if anything goes wrong, if there's any threat, how do you understand without even being active on your laptops, on your devices, right? How can an agent give you a call and tell you that, oh, in your system these are two three things which may be breaking, right? At the same time, replacing the dashboards with natural language observability, which basically means today you have a complicated dashboard that only you and a few of your other tech friends can understand, right? How do you make it simple enough that anybody from business team can also look at that database and the dashboard and figure out, oh, what's going on, in case if there's any log which is to be looked at, if there's anything that is concerning that to be looked at, what are the trend lines going to be, and also building these interfaces for internal infra monitoring, right? A best example, Netflix, which uses AI for anomaly detection and dynamic infra routing, right? Product engineers who are at the core of building things with AI and driving the AI ecosystem with help of working with tech professionals. They are also one of them, definitely. Who are now becoming multi-agent UX integrator, integrating multi-agent systems, right? So what exactly they are doing is embedding LLM copilots inside apps, designing the multi-agent system, right? Can somebody tell me a difference between an agent and a multi-agent system very quickly in the chat? Team and employee. Okay, that's one. Multi-agent has multiple LLMs. Okay, not completely right, but you're thinking right. Your approach is correct. Any more? Any more? There are a few more answers coming in. Lang graph. Okay. That's a place where you multi-agent can communicate with each other. Agent is and one LLM and multi-agent is more okay. Agent which call other as part of subtask and collectively take action. Good. Nice. Multi-agents which can collectively act to provide response to the user. Okay, nice. An agent can do a specific task, but an agent system is like a complete team capable of completing entire task autonomously. And that's very well put, Chirag. Right? That's exactly that is like imagine you are someone who is trying to automate your own work, right? That is single agent. But when you build a team of AI agent and each agent has their own specific skill, own specific expertise, and now in a system, they can communicate with each other, they can share memory with each other, they can sort of communicate and say, oh, we have a front end agent in the team. I do quality. Can you and you are the one front end who can do front end. Let take this project and go ahead and do this, right? And there's a boss agent who sits on top of them and sort of orchestrates the full agent system to understand which agent is to be given the task. Do they have enough information about that task? We'll talk about graphs also, how that memory is shared. Simple decision maker and multi decision maker. Okay, I think most of you have gotten the right? So that's what a product engineer is now building these systems where you set up how do multi-agent systems operate with each other? How do they communicate with each other? How exactly they have memory which is contextual at the same time very specific, right? For example, if you have a memory which is of 500 TBs of data, if you want to pass on that some information to the next person or let's say your next agent, you don't need to pass on the whole information. Only specific or contextual information, let's say that may be 5 MB, is how you can pass it on, right? And there are a few nitty-gritties also, but that's basically a very oversimplified version of it. But that's what product engineers are doing, and also building these end user assistants that mimic human interaction so that when it goes to business, people can adopt, understand, and work with them as well, right? And that's what we saw. AI is already replacing 80% of repetitive, right? Not engineering, not engineers, not engineering tasks, definitely, but firstly, repetitive engineering workflows, right? And also, the old way of working is completely changing, right? Now, what's happening is this, right? At AI first companies, what used to take a team of 5 engineers can now be done by one engineer. And that engineer is powered by AI agents by building and learning these agentic AI systems. And who exactly that one engineer is? Can somebody answer me in the chat? Right? We call this new role AI native engineer, and we are seeing a lot of conversations, not only conversations, a lot of job roles getting opened up about that. This person is not someone who just codes, right? This is someone who is orchestrating how AI agents are built and how AI agents are operated and how do they solve problems end to end, right? And this is across the spectrum. This is not only for someone who can, okay, I'm 2 to 3 years in the business. Is this something for me? Oh, I'm already at 45 years of experience. Is this something for me as well? AI as a skill, for example, to simplify it down one more time, is not like learning another language. If you already know English, it is not like learning Spanish or learning Latin or learning another language. AI today in this world is learning to speak to begin with. And that's what's happening. And that's why it's relevant in each of the experience bracket, right? If you are someone who's at 10 to 20 years of experience, you are the people who will be architecting and leading the AI first team, driving these engineering strategy, driving that AI adoption and governance in your organization. If you're someone who's between 3 to 9 years of experience, you are the one who will be building these AI powered workflows, shipping these agentic systems, and automating the legacy engineering task, right? The first use case that comes around when people or the companies start adopting AI is that their legacy system is not ready for agentic architecture. And that's where you come in to solve these things and sort of become a bridge between that. And you lead the execution at the same time. And everybody who's just starting out about 0 to 3 years of experience, you will accelerate faster than peers by becoming a GenAI native engineer, right? Who is not only fluent in tools and automations, but understands how these systems are built, how these structures sort of come to existence, right? And for you and somebody who's in 45 years of experience, the world is again at a level playing field, right? The experience may be definitely different, but the execution is what is becoming faster, better, and cheaper, right? And that's what is your leverage. You already know what the future of team would look like. The new identity is being an AI native engineer, right? Who manages and builds a team of AI agents and works along with that, right? The engineer of tomorrow doesn't just write code, they design systems, orchestrate workflows, and lead a team of AI agents across every layer of engineering. Before I get to the next slide, very quick question, right? How many of you were able to sort of execute something at your work after Mastermind? Was there any one or two thing where you were able to sort of either save your time, save your money, or save your resources? Anything in the chat? Can someone give an example? I see yes and two coming in. Automation, okay. What is that one thing you solved with help of AI in your own organization or at your own work? Making research paper, interesting. Better prompting, that's a very good start. We built an AI agent, okay. Automated patching process of servers via AI, interesting. Perfect. There are a few more coming in. I think we'll keep moving and we'll come to that, right? Once again, the idea is how can you think like an AI native engineer? How can we enable you to becoming an AI native engineer with what we have learned in the process in the last 2 years, training a lot of tech professionals and enabling them into becoming one, right? Yes, was able to make better prompting and generation better images, vibe coded multiple prototypes before it went to production, created translation agent for locals using advanced AI tools. Okay, okay, got it. So you joined us in the mastermind, right? And we had about 3 sessions. The first session where we went deeper into his developer productivity and AI agents. We also went through introduction to looking at agentic AI systems, how they are different from just AI agents. How do you sort of orchestrate them? We showed you demos of a couple of live agents. We looked at DevOps agent. We looked at investment advisor. We looked at a few more agents. We also learned a lot about MCPs. We learned at how the orchestration of these workflow happen and what exactly are multi-agent systems, right? This exactly was Sprint Zero. Custom GPTs and gems heavily using. Okay, now here are some of the AI frameworks that you should explore, and we sort of gave you that example, as we went through the mastermind. But one more time, these are the 6 branches of learning Gen AI engineering, right? The first one is LLM frameworks. The second is model serving and inference. Third is agent tooling. At the same time, how do you build these databases with retrieval and vector storage? At the same time, when you have the backend code and the infra ready, how do you build front end for these apps? How do you build front end for your systems and platform? And then where do you go ahead and orchestrate these? Where do you go ahead and build these AI agents, which is your multi-agent frameworks, right? For example, LangGraph, TrueAI, AutoGen, OpenAI, Realtime, and a few more, right? We looked at A2A, we looked at a few more other frameworks as well, right? So let's come deeper into it, right? Where exactly are we now? You have become an AI native engineer at the beginning of it, at the base camp of the mountain, right? After the sprint zero, we were at starting our trekking, but we are still at the base camp. There is a lot more things, to sort of practice more than you know, right? So how do you do that? From Basecamp, what we want to do is give you a roadmap to climb the hill and reach a peak of the Everest or the mountain, whichever you like, but basically becoming an AI native engineer. And you have already come so far with the 2 days, and we thought we'll do a catch up with you in a couple of weeks and sort of call you and see where you are and give you more deep dives of where we are, right? Are we ready? Let's get into the roadmap very quickly. I'll take you through each one of them. We'll get through beginner levels, we'll get through intermediate levels, and I'll also show you case studies of what we should look at. Type in yes in the chat very quickly. I would know we all are with me, and we'll get deeper into it. Got it. So the evolving role of engineers in generative AI-driven world. Keep these three sections in your head while you sort of hear and go through the next slides, right? If you are someone who's a senior engineer, once again, about 20 years of experience, you will be the people driving AI innovation, strategy, and impactful autonomous. View the next 40 minutes from this lens. Middle level engineers, anyone from sort of 3 to 10 years, 15 years of experience, you will be the people optimizing AI models, collaborating and solving challenges effectively with help of other business teams. And entry level engineers just starting out, just in your first 6 to sort of 2 years of your
Recording
job.
stopped.
Okay, very interesting.
Recording in progress.
No worries. Sorry for that, folks. You will be the people assisting AI development through training, testing, and deployment, right? So this is exactly how it look like. Let's get into the roadmap that will help you become an AI native engineer, right? The first level is getting detailed and very specific into LLM foundations and prompt engineering. Level 2 is where you go deeper and geek out into RAGs. Level 4, where we go into multimodal capabilities, which is AI with audio, visual, and audio visual data at the same time. How do you work with more apps and systems? Level 4, where you explore everything about agentic AI to multi-agent systems to orchestrations to MCPs and a few more there. And finally, building and deploying LLM solutions, which are your production ready applications which are ready for scale, right? These are overview of 5 levels. Let's get into each one of them, but very quickly, right? There's something that you already know. The world is talking about this almost every day. Every time you hear a YouTube video, every time you look at any sort of article, this is the bold and tagline of every article which you read, right? Here's that what world is talking about jobs and AI adoption. And yes, we are talking about layoffs, right? We have seen companies laying off left, right, and center, but there's something you don't know as well, right? And this data definitely has been taken by Crunchbase, TechCrunch, and definitely was AI who helped us prepare this, because we are AI native engineers as well in the organization. So this is what the industry-wide, the company-wide layoffs which happened over the last 3 years, 2024 to and 2023, 2024, and 2025. But there's something that you don't know, or you may know, but you might not have heard this anywhere else, or even only when you have sort of gone deeper into it. So here's the data that world doesn't talk about at all most of the times. AI jobs were not lost. They were also, a big chunk of them were for sort of displaced, and also new AI jobs were created, right? We always see the number of, okay, Amazon fired X number of people, Meta fired X number of people, but what we don't hear is what happened to those people. More importantly, what happened if they changed, if they sort of reduced their team size? The jobs were sort of displaced. The jobs that came in became new opportunities. And as you see here, the jobs that were gone and the jobs that were created, right? And definitely it was not only 4.6K, it was slightly sort of more, but there's in different multiples there, right? It was much higher, and it is just going and increasing almost 3x every year, right? Today, there are more jobs available if you know and understand AI than it was before. But the traditional jobs don't exist anyway, right? Or it won't be continuing to exist for the next couple of years. And this is the trend that is happening. World doesn't talk about, definitely, it's very fancy to talk about, okay, the jobs are going. Okay, for example, right? There are going to be new things that will come up. But what specifically can you do about it? What exactly it matters to you, and how can you sort of direct yourself? How can you sort of adjust how you're going forward and building your career, right? So let's go deep dive into each level. The first level we spoke about foundations of AI, NLP, and prompt engineering. Let's look at the beginner level stuff and then get to the next two, right? What exactly the beginner level of AI engineering, or let's say level one foundations, talks about? Understanding at the base LLM, what exactly this large language model is, how exactly an LLM processes text using tokenization, how it works with embeddings, how exactly it pays self attention to the answer generation process, how exactly to even frame a prompt, not a advanced prompt, just a prompt. How do you talk, for example, to ChatGPT or Claude or any platform, right? What is the outcome that you should be looking at in case if you're at a beginner level? These are the kind of things you should be already able to achieve, right? Building a strong AI foundation, definitely level one starts with concepts, understanding what exactly this ecosystem is, which a lot of us are aware, but we forget, right? It's not as complicated, but a structured understanding is always helpful. So building the strong AI foundation and crafting effective prompts for better results. If you're just asking an AI to, oh, write me an email about this and send it to that, maybe your approach may have changed to write me an email for sending this proposal to this person, and that is how it can update, right? So updating that process and working confidently with AI vision models, right? AI models which have an understanding of what is your context. Intermediate levels, when we get to that, you understand what exactly are core ML concepts, right? What exactly are machine language concepts included or sort of required to learn this space, starting with classification, regression, and time series, fundamentals of NLP, understanding about once again tokenization, how the text is processed, how it is, how sort of LM generates the text using probability, what is temperature, what is top P, a lot of concepts around that, and how it has an impact in your answer generation process, building a basic search engine, right? And at the same time, that's when we get to prompting. That's when we get to multiple layers of prompting. There are almost about right now about 30 odd types of prompting, ways of prompting available. You can discover your own type as well, but that's basically normally how sort of world talks about it. And working with real world data sets using pandas, right? The outcome is basically what you should be looking at yourself when you get to this level is, are you able to build that foundational AI workflows using ML and NLP? Are you also able to apply basic prompt engineering with LLM APIs? Are you looking at, are you able to work, are you able to see difference between what is a zero shot prompt to few shot prompt to chain of thought prompt to XML prompt to markdown prompt, right? Which prompt is right for which platform and how, where exactly it is giving you the right results, right? And then understanding how to clean and work with structured data, right? That's a beginning of getting into it, right? When you reach an advanced level, when you reach sort of the epitome of understanding prompt engineering or NLP along with ML, you get to introductions of embedding, vectors, and their role in model NLP. How exactly it has changed in the last couple of years. What exactly is semantic similarity and vector-based search, along with advanced prompting structures, right? And generating now system prompts which sort of can become a core function of your all AI systems, right? How do you generate a prompt that may do the job better, and even if maybe 3 or 10 pages long, that's the one who's handling your all, let's say a RAG or a platform or a system that you have built inside your organization. How do you call LLMs via OpenAI and Olama APIs? How do you build a basic conversational agent using prompts and the tools which are openly available? At the same time, the outcomes that you'll be seeing, that you should be seeing in yourself is, are you able to use embeddings to enhance NLP task? Are you also able to create LLM based applications using API calls? And are you also beginning to understand how prompt can scale the effectivity of the answer and effectivity of the whole system, right? So looking at modular and prompt based workflows, that's level one. Okay, now let's come to one example of an organization. How did they sort of adopt this level and what are the kind of things that they were able to do, right? So the first case study that I have for you is this, right? Zendesk was able to scale their customer service with help of conversational AI, right? And how exactly did they do that, right? Zendesk, for people who don't know, it's a platform which can help you, which basically runs, which is a customer service platform, right? It is almost close to or over $1 billion organization, has been in business for almost more than a decade now. The problem statement that they were sort of struggling with is the high volume, just the sheer volume of repetitive support, right? If you're working in any organization, you will already know what are the top five buckets where you get tickets. And there's a manpower which goes and writes and solves and the same tickets again and again. Or you have canned responses. If this comes, let's send that, right? So high volume of repeated tier one support, right? Queries led to slow response times, which is rising their operational costs. Definitely, if you're solving redundant tickets, which is not redundant in terms of the outcome, but in terms of the repetitive nature of it, you may solve or try to give time to the important ones, which we already need. So your time increases, the operational costs increase because now you need more people or sort of more time to solve that. And the support team is always overburdened, right? How exactly were they able to solve it with help of AI? Is this right? They were able to deploy, first of all, they were able to build and deploy an intent aware conversational chatbot. What is the intent of building this system? What is the objective? How exactly you hire a new team member and you give it this as your KPI, and this is the vision of our business. This is how you will be going, and these are the business KPIs, right? So intent, what exactly is this chatbot or a conversational AI system is going to solve, right? And then using NLP based pre-processing so that it can classify into what is the intent of each bucket of queries that are coming in, and then integrating it with help of LLMs so that it can understand the context of the queries and also generate human-like responses. You already have, right? Zendesk already has millions and billions of queries they might have solved. They already have data. Now compare that to, can LLM generate these kind of communications for us and responses for us in a tone that Zendesk follows normally, in a tone that customer success executives follow at Zendesk, and then automating the routine FAQs through prompt-driven workflows, right? What is the impact that they normally saw? They were able to automate up to almost 70% of their tier one queries. Tier one, where it's basically your P0 of your sort of queries that come in. And not only that, once you automate, your time of solving a ticket goes down, but then you also have a few more outcomes along with it. The number of people that you need goes down as well at the same time. So they also were able to reduce the support operational cost. At the same time, as I said, they were able to improve response time from hours to almost seconds, because you now don't need a human's time to be spent to read, to sort of build a response and send it. There's an AI system who can do it without even you looking at it, and you can be the person who can sort of approve or reject the response or do some changes as required. And Zendesk as a system, as a business, already has a lot of data, which became a training set of data for this conversational AI agent. So it was able to free the human agents to handle more complex and high value issues than repetitive problems, right? That is what level one, and a case study in terms of how companies, like for example this one, the case in question, Zendesk was able to adopt it, right? Does it make sense? Are you with me so far? Are you understanding? Are you also able to identify a few places in your organization where you can do this as well? Looking at level one, yes, no, in the chat quickly. Okay, got it. Interesting. Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Can understand. Can see. Okay, got it. Perfect, perfect. Let's get to level two. Level two is where you go deeper into building racks, right? Once you understand how LLMs function, once you understand why ChatGPT is different than Claude, then different than Perplexity, than any other LLMs that's available, right? How do they have their own expertise? How they are built? How do they process? Once we go through that in level one, that's when you come to level two and you start now playing around with data and sort of understanding and building these pattern recognition systems, right? Yeah, definitely. For some of you, this is just the beginning, right? Understanding NLP prompting, you might always, a lot of you would be aware of it, but that's the beginning of it. We have sort of almost 5 levels, so we'll deep down to each one of it, right? When you look at RAGs, right? Why it says bring your own data is just of a funny anecdote of BYOD, right? But what it basically means is how can you build a system which is curated for your organization. For example, 90% of engineering teams have a use case that how can we work with the data and keep it internal. We don't want to use AI systems where we can upload files to ChatGPT and sort of let it process on the internet, right? We want to keep that confidential and inside our ecosystem. That's where RAG comes in, right? So let's look at this, right? Beginner stages. When you get to beginner stages of RAG, you start first of all understanding what exactly is this process called, right? Not only definitely the full form of it, which is retrieval augmented generation, but what exactly are fundamentals of these, how RAG combines retrieval systems along with LLMs to improve response accuracy and reduce hallucination. So how these retrieval systems are set up so that it can fetch the right document or the right information, right? The outcome that should be able to look at in yourself, just for example, if a few tools you would want to test out as well. Notebook LM, one of the openly available free RAG by Google, which is available, right? You should be able to create basic chatbots using RAG solutions where the data is yours and not internet, right? Imagine this, right? You go to ChatGPT, you ask a question, and it gives you 500 things that you need, right? But that may not be exactly what you may need, which is based on your company documents and policy and a lot of patterns that you have identified. Can you build a system which is trained only and only on your own data set? That's what exactly a RAG is, right? So at a basic and a beginner stages, how can you work with a very small data set, for example, 50 MBs to 5 GBs of data, which you can upload on ChatGPT and build a custom GPT out of it? Or you sort of work with Notebook LM and sort of give access to this data, and you can start chatting with your own data, keeping the open data or the internet's data out of the picture. So next time when you ask a question, you get exactly what you need and as per your company documents, as per your SOPs, as per your sort of the needs, right? So you don't have to sort of do a lot of back and forth with that. That's the beginner level. Intermediate level, when we come to it, that's where you get deeper into architecture of how a RAG is built, how exactly these embedding systems are working. How do you set them up as well? How do you set up these databases, how these vector databases function, and what are the multiple available frameworks to use? FAISS, ChromaDB, you might have also heard about LansDB and a few more, right? And then starting to build these simple RAG pipelines, not by now using external tools like Notebook LM, but now starting to build your own pipeline inside your own sort of organization. At the same time, document chunking. How do you understand, sort of, how do you give or train the data, train AI with your own data? How do you set up those retrieval and basic understanding of that? At this point, you should be able to build a basic RAG powered chatbot, your own RAG powered chatbot, and you should be able to store and retrieve knowledge from text sources, not image and video. We'll come to that, right? You should be able to do that and build this as your own system without using any tools outside. LLM, definitely not the readily available tools. When you reach an advanced level of building a RAG or working with data and pipelines there, how do you now understand what are hybrid retrieval strategies? For example, how do you filter retrieval through metadata? How do you filter data through multi-vector search? How do you filter data with help of FAQ summary? How do you add that and sort of enrich your data as well? Second is how do you set up custom embedding models and tune them, right? So you exactly know if a person is asking about a certificate out of 500 TVs of information, which 5 files which have that information, and you can sort of retrieve that. So setting up those systems and mechanism, how do you sort of understand indexing so that when you are training the LLM with your own data, it goes in a specific pattern. It understands what exactly the information is needed and goes in the right structure to find that information, right? It does not give you the information which is placed at number 10 or is in wrong hierarchy, which may be relevant but may not be useful at this time, right? So how do you do that? How exactly you build a RAG which can now access your CSVs, can now access your Google Sheets, your tabular form of data, and can now start making sense of it along with text, right? And at the end, evaluation of how do you understand if your RAG is performing How do you understand your rag, the benchmark of your rag as compared to SMAs in your organization? And doing these evaluations with help of Langsmith and generating and building these feedback loops so the rag can keep on auto correcting and sort of improving itself, right? The end outcome definitely with rag is you should be able to build a whole system and able to deploy this accurate rag systems for your own organization and evaluate and debug the performance of the rag on a continuous basis. That's true, right? The case study and example is this, right? How Morgan Stanley built an enterprise knowledge GPT, right? I don't know if you guys saw, but very recently, I would not name the creators though, but there have been a lot of information that is now coming out which says companies used to hire organizations like Morgan Stanley and Big Fours to do analysis for them, to sort of advise them on structure. And now most of these top organizations have built their own GPT models based on enormous data sets and research that they have done. So now it has become much more faster for them to advise them, right? The problem statement, basically what Morgan Stanley was facing, was advisors who are sort of at the almost at the lower curve needed instant access to thousands of internal research document, right? Without manual search. What happens? An associate comes to you and says, I'm working on this project, right? Where do I find this information which we already have? We may have solved this problem somewhere for some other company, let's say 2 years before, right? Can we look at that and see what's happening? Instead of just going to internet and doing that research, it's much more faster. But Morgan Stanley was not able to provide that access because they didn't have a system before that, right? So how they exactly solve this problem with AI is this, right? They were able to convert their proprietary data and documents into embeddings, first of all. Embedding is basically a code on a file, code on a folder, which helps you identify what exactly is there in that folder, right? Implemented then vector database retrieval. So how do you store all your information on a cloud? How it is properly sort of set up so that you can find right point of information from right point of source and setting up those retrieval mechanisms. And then once you have those data storage set, once you have those pattern recognition done, once you have vector storage built, how do you now build a model on top of it, which can now act as a RAG where you ask a query, where you question or where you ask a question to this model, it sort of generates and understands what is the data available, goes to that out of, let's say, 50,000 files which is available. It goes to that specific 10 files where this data specifically may be available, fetches that, generates a proper research and report for you, and gives you that. So you don't need to go through thousands of files, and you have the research documents and analysis and suggestions available at one go, which normally takes about weeks and weeks, and if not less, 5 to 10 stakeholders in between to just get to the right file, right? What helped once again is that they saved almost 1 to 2 hours per advisor per day. So imagine a company at the size of Morgan Stanley with about thousands of employees is able to save 2 hours a day, almost a couple of thousand, 10,000 man hours a day. And then was able to reduce once again the research time by 70%. They, as I said, if they used to take 10 hours to do the research, now they were taking 3 hours to get it faster. And at the same time, they were able to improve their accuracy of strategy, accuracy of suggestions, accuracy of what the companies that are coming to them should do in terms of increasing their whatever problem statement, maybe by almost 20 to 30%. And at a scale which Morgan Stanley operates and the kind of scale that the companies that come to Morgan Stanley, even 10 dollars in revenue. So giving do. We can learn a lot from this and build a lot of systems for our own self as well, right? With me till level two? With me? Yes, no? Were you able to understand level two? Were you able to sort of identify the kind of things you can do with it? Very quickly, yes, no? Even if you did 50-50, yeah, I understand, right? It's a beginning of it. So this is how you should look at it, right? All the levels are relevant for everybody. It's not like, oh, I'm only a front end engineer. Maybe only level two will be able to help me. No, we are not talking about that, right? We are talking about being an AI native engineer who has an understanding of across the 5 levels, and that's what it takes to sort of get there, right? Folks, is my voice clear? Somebody's saying that my voice was breaking. So a quick check if all of you are on the same page. Got it. Let's come to level 3. Now, here's where we go deeper into multimodal capabilities. Can someone tell me what is multimodal capabilities very quickly? Very quickly, what is multimodal? Okay. Hmm. I'm getting almost right answers. Okay. A few more would like to try. Okay. A RAG that has multiple types of files. Correct. Almost correct. Text, speech, image, video. Okay. One time doing multiple things. A model that can understand text as well as image, video, and audio. So you're just saying AGI. Not yet, not yet. So GenAI with audio visual data basically means till most of the time, ChatGPT, Claude, and all others were only able to communicate with us in form of text. Now, when you build your own AI models, is that a limitation for you? Is that going to be a limitation that a system that only sort of responds in text and every time? No, that's not. And that's our multi-mode model, right? The mode of switching to text, mode of switching to audio, mode of working with video. So multi-modal audio, video, text is what it can support. So how do you work with multimodal systems, and how do you give your systems capability of understanding text, visual, and also the audio? So at the beginner stages of it, it's very simple, right? And it's not only for content creators, by the way, right? It may give that flow when you look at beginner levels, but it is for everybody who works with visual form of data or builds testimonials or tutorials and a lot of case studies or whatever form of data or blogs that you may need, right? Or you want to build an app which can respond in that particular format. So in a beginner level, just basically understanding how LLM can help you generate images, videos, music with help of AI tools, right? GPT models, for example, 4.1 was one of the very good models before a lot of them came out, right? That's why we have put down as well. Sora has become much more greater at building videos. One more great example coming up is Perplexity with this audio feature. Now you can talk and get things done with that. And I think ChatGPT has now come in as well, right? So how do you not only use those features, but understands how to build with them, right? So using Midjourney to create an image, understanding how the video is created over Kling AI or Leonardo or Runway ML. How do you create music with help of Suno and a few more other platforms as well? So that it's not for you to sort of just understand how do you sort of have fun with AI, and definitely you can definitely have that, but at the same time how these technologies are structured and built, how the end tools perform, so that when you build one of your own, you exactly know how these tuning can be done. So the first outcome of beginner level is generating these high quality media and websites with AI, enhancing productivity with AI powered search and presentations, right? And then intermediate levels, we get to understanding basics of multimodals instead of just playing around with tools, getting deeper into how a model understands text and responds and tasks. How exactly, when we say generate an image for X, what is the diffusion mechanism that gets into the backend? How a model is able to generate audio, right? We sort of work with tools for OCR, image captioning, integrating these PDFs and image into AI apps, right? So when you build your own app, how you can give your app a capability of audio visual sort of response and also sort of building things with them, right? At this point of time, you should be able to, for yourself, be able to extract and use insights from documents which contain not only text anymore, but also contains images or charts for longest amount of time. I think even today, ChatGPT struggles with images, taking data from images and giving you some insight, right? For me, at least, that's the case. And I think I majorly go to Claude and Perplexity for that purpose. But yes, at the same time, processing these visual plus textual data in tandem along with together and scaling that process. And when you reach an advanced level is where you build multimodal RAG architecture. Now we understood what a RAG is, we understood what multimodal is. So how do you build a system of which is your own system, which is an enterprise system, which you can adopt in your own organization, where you are asking your system a question and it is responding not only in text. For example, I ask this multimodal RAG now, can you give me the trend of revenue of the last 10 months? And it gives you not what happened in January, February, March and pointers and text. It gives you a graph which says this is how the trend line has been looking like. Do you want me to go deep dive into any of them? So that is building multimodal or learning those RAG architecture. Going deeper into vision language models like GPT-4V, Gemini, Clip, and there are few more that have sort of instantly come up, right? Why we are still talking about GPT-4 or sort of, the older ones are, these are the basic at core systematic changes with these foundations did, right? For example, DALI still stands at an organization that deals for diffusion models, and it serves a lot of platforms like Midjourney as a backend layer as well. So understanding what is there in the architecture layer and then building on top of it, or sort of selecting which one is the right one. Also understanding image and text fusion embeddings, right? We understood how embeddings happen in data, but how does exactly it happen in text? How does it happen? How does it happen in not text, actually with image and sort of videos? So that when you ask a multimodal system generate an image of a car on fire, how exactly that system knows what exactly does a fire on a car looks like, and it gives you that, right? How that data or the saving of the data and pattern recognition is happening in an image format. Searching and answering from scanned documents, as I said, which have image heavy data sets, right? Imagine talking to a YouTube video, right? How do you enable that? How can your system look at a video, understand what's happening, and then talk to you and give you that understanding? At the end of the advanced level of level 3, you should be able to build a GenAI system which is capable of understanding text, tables, visuals, and at the same time deliver very rich, almost 95% accuracy in searching with your own data set that you might have created with help of Q&A apps, right? The case study in question is how OpenAI built GPT-4o for multimodal intelligence, right? After 4, one of the most talked about model was 4o, which came in. And I think still people go back to it. And when GPT-5 was launched, people asked Sam Altman to bring back GPT-4o, right? And what exactly was that? Users needed a single AI system that could understand and respond across text, images, and voice in real time instead of using separate models for each modality. That's what GPT-4o enabled. And how did they exactly solve it? Was this. They built a unified multimodal sort of engine, which was trained on text, image, and audio inputs. They also enabled a real-time speech-to-text API. That's when you see a mic option sort of launched on OpenAI, so that you can click, you can talk, and it sort of generated your speech into text, and at the same time text-to-speech integration as well. At the same time, they not only built this feature for their own purpose and the tool, they also enabled it to be used in your own system as well. So if you want to build your multimodal features, you will mostly be using OpenAI's 4O's API to sort of make that available in your own system. And sort of at the same time, optimize inference for low latency conversational interactions, right? What exactly the impact was for this? They enabled voice responses, and the latency was near human level speed, and that was magical when it came out, right? They were also able to unify multiple AI capabilities into one system, and also support millions of multimodal interactions. You saw Ghibli coming out of it, right, at that point of time, and also reduced the need of separate models for each capability, separate model for speech, separate for vision, separate for text, right? And that's where we moved into a world where LLMs can support everything that we talk to them. And that's how they're now moving towards, as somebody said, AGI. But we'll not get deeper into it, right? With me, level 3, are you understanding the case? Are you understanding the skills? Are you understanding the outcome? Most importantly, are you able to understand where this will fit in your work today? Definitely, there's a way that you can take and sort of learn everything on your own, every level, about good 3 to 4 months of time, and you become that AI native engineer. But are you today looking at all the 3 levels? Are you able to find problem statements that you can work on, right? I use this in my work and it is much helpful to me. Gemini and GPT. A master model can control different SME agent and control and orchestrate them to solve a problem or achieve a common goal. Correct. All of these are converted to vectors. Interesting. Yes, correct. In a way. Speech, video, text, multiple models together. Okay. Everybody, yes, no, with me? Are you all still with me? Are you understanding what's happening here? Are you understanding the levels of it, the sort of enhancement of each one of it? We'll slightly fasten it up. We are almost at the time, so we'll take next 15 minutes and try to do that. Okay. Level 4, where you now talk about all the mumbo jumbo that you have heard about agentic AI, right? Was what exactly these agents are, right? How many of you have worked with Cloudbot already? Has anybody implemented Cloudbot, worked with that? Has utilized it, tested it, played around with it? For multimodal, are we going to build a multimodal from scratch or use OpenAI LLM? You're basically going to use multiple services available to build your own multimodal system, right? So agent is different than agentic AI. It's different than multi-agent system and agentic AI workflows, right? And people always get confused around it. When you get to agentic AI applications in beginner stages, you should be able to first, you'll be learning how to build basic agents with AI features like a chatbot or image generation tool, as simple as building websites, apps effortlessly using autonomous AI agents. And you should be on your own able to build a basic AI agent. A custom GPT is an AI agent at a beginner stage, right? Second, an AI agent not necessarily may have an option to execute function as well. That's what will come to in intermediate levels. First of all, you should be just able to play around with memory and sort of make AI tool to give you the right outcome that you would want, and then come up with a plan of executing that. That's where intermediate levels, you should be able to understand what AI agents are and how they differ from standard pipelines. Introduction to LangChain agents and tools being used, tool calling or function calling, understanding and building these simple tool calling agents with help of Python calculator and web search, understanding and building basics of agent memory, conversation memory, and summarization. Also, at the same time, creating these flow logic using prompt chaining techniques, right? How does an agent flow? How does an agent think? What are the steps? How exactly this agent is groomed, let's say, right? What you should be able to sort of build and perform is build agents that can plan and execute tasks as well. They have access to systems where they can take action for you. And now using memory to make multi-step conversation more effective, right? Okay, can you write an email and send it to this person? Great. That's single step. Can you read all the 100 emails? Tell me which three is more important. Tell me what exactly the important conversation is. Can you draft a response? Block my calendar and send a response and set up a meeting. That's multi-step conversations, right? What happens is every step an LM takes on its own, the latency of that and the accuracy of that reduces. But when you come and build an agentic AI application, that's what it's supposed to mitigate, right? And that's what you should be able to sort of figure out in intermediate levels. When you reach an advanced level, you should be able to build dynamic workflows using LangGraph. Also, build structured multi-agent coordination with planner and executor design. Somebody who plans an agent, somebody who executes an agent. So two agents working alongside, one handles the thinking, one handles the execution of it. And at the same time, using function calling with OpenAI to trigger external tools, designing agents for real world and autonomous tasks. At the end of agentic AI applications level 4, you should be able to implement a reusable production grade agentic AI system. At the same time, enable LLMs to reason, plan, and act based on your structured workflows. Imagine your team is now not on your desk, but now sitting on your laptop. Each one has their own expertise and are now able to perform, right? And you don't need 7 to 8 humans or 10 humans in your system because multi-agent systems can perform the task, think, collaborate, and sort of work with each other and get it done, right? The case in action, for example, you have not already heard about this, this was also one of the sort of benchmarks when this came out. How Salesforce built an AI sales copilot, right? Salesforce was also one of the companies, one of the very first ones who says we are stopping all our hiring in engineering roles because AI is able to do much better job and we don't want to hire more engineers. And even today, they have not opened that up. But what exactly, but that's a different part. What exactly was the problem statement that Salesforce solved? Was that sales reps spent excessive time in just operational and logistics, which is drafting emails, summarizing calls, and updating the data, just updating that Excel sheet with what happened is a painful thing, right? And we know, I think most of the time we spend on an Excel sheet understanding what's happening, what is the product status update, and all of that, right? How exactly did they solve it? Is they integrated LMs with CRM workflows. At the same time, automated email generation and call summaries. Most of us do that. Some of you have Fireflies on this meeting as well. They also not only did the summarization of calls or added intelligence to understand the stage of the lead, they also suggested next best action. So you don't have to do the hard part and understand which lead should I follow up. Is this a hot lead? This person promised to pay, but this is in the pipeline. So AI was able to do that, so that a sales rep was able to do their job better, which is do calling, understand the person, sort of do the selling more than sort of spend time. They were also able to orchestrate AI across pipeline stages. For example, if a person who is at promise to pay stage but is not paying and it's been 2 weeks, what exactly we should do for that? And that's where an AI agent comes in and says, oh, five, this lead of bucket have already been cold. Would you want to nurture them through this, maybe a resource or whatever? At the end, what they were able to do, they were able to reduce the admin workload by almost 40%. If a sales rep was spending time, let's say 3 hours a day to draft an email, summarizing a call and updating the CRM data, it came down to 40%. They were able to increase sales productivity definitely by the similar time, about 25 to 30%. And the most important part, it was able to directly impact in their revenue because they were able to shorten the sales cycle of the sales rep to almost 20%, right? One solution was helping in three items, and they were able to sort of have productive outcomes out of it, right? And that's what level four, where agentic application comes into picture. Level five, which is the final level, and where you go deeper, not only in terms of all the nitty gritties of AI, but now we come to costing. Now we come to how do you deploy. So when you sort of get into beginner levels of it, how do you build basic apps with AI features like chatbots or image generation? At the same time, making these simple MVPs to really accelerate development, right? First of all, you build a small chatbot for yourself. Great. Can you build an MVP that can go to hundreds of users? Great. That's basically where we are getting to with beginner levels of just getting into deploying the LLM solutions, right? So you should be able to build and sort of maintain a basic functional AI powered app with minimal coding, with AI assisted coding, at the same time creating those chatbots and basic data driven tools with AI integration. When you get to intermediate levels, you get to structure of how this architecture is going to work. How am I going to build this app step by step? What is the architecture that I will need in order to build this app on top of? What are the GenAI powered systems that I'm going to use? What are the APIs and services which are available that I'm going to integrate? How do you build these front end interfaces using Streamlit, Gradio, right? So that you don't need to go to your terminal and to call the agent. You have a front end where people can go and use this, right? At the same time, integrating LLMs with REST APIs and user inputs. At the same time, working with a not sort of multi APIs, but more sort of MCPs. Managing these API calls and error handling, building and running project ideas, building and running a full project end to end. That's what you should be able to perform. At the end of intermediate stages, as an outcome, you should be able to already build a real world LLM app. Imagine building a chat GPT of your own version with full stack functionality and also demonstrate user facing solutions, not only a personal app, but something that you can give out to millions of users and people can use it at scale. When you get to an advanced level, that's where you go very deep and understand deployment completely and scaling. How do you understand deploying apps with fast API, Streamlit Cloud, or third-party platforms? At the same time, monitoring systems for GenAI are set up. How do you go about that? How do you sort of keep a constant eye on that? How do you manage logging, debugging, cost tracking in productions, and optimizing for latency, token uses, and retries so that while your usage of AI increases, while your usage of your own app and system that you have built increases, your cost doesn't shoot up 20x also. Your revenue increases, your time decreases, but the cost stays intact because that's what is the promise of AI. And we have seen that happening multiple times. So, how do you work with costing? How do you work with tokens? How do you sort of work with inferences? At the end of level five, as an advanced, you should be able to completely be ready to build a scalable and launchable robust LLM application and should be able to set up end-to-end observability and evaluation for any GenAI development into your organization, right? If you don't know this, or we already spoke about Shopify in a different context, but Shopify was able to increase conversions with AI shopping assistant, right? Which was not only built for solving customer questions and answers like a support chatbot, customers were struggling to discover relevant products quickly. And since Shopify handles thousands and millions of stores on that, it led to a lower conversion rates and cart abandonment for that particular businesses. So they solved it with help of building a conversational shopping assistant. Not only I have a problem, help me with it. I need something. Does this website, does this platform have it? Can you guide me through it? Using semantic search with embeddings, integrated product catalog using APIs, and personalizing recommendations using context memory. What this person has done on this website on or on a platform of Shopify, and how can I use that data to direct it to the right product? What is the impact that they normally saw for each of their stores which enabled this feature? They were able to see an increased conversion rate by 8 to 15%, which is a difference between making or breaking a business. They were able to reduce product search time by 40%, which directly goes to conversion rates. And also they were able to boost their AOV by 20%, right? So almost at the verge of making businesses profitable through help of this, right? All these level mentioned about using LLMs in different contexts is entire AI evolve around LLM for native AI engineer. LLMs are the core of it. For example, if you learn to speak, voice is a core of it. So here LLMs are the core of it, right? If you build a RAG, it will be through an LLM. LLM, large language models, is basically a model which has a lot of understanding and can guide and build things for you. Okay. Okay. What happened? Okay. Perfect. This is where we started the roadmap from, and this is where we are coming to, right? The evolving role of Gen AI engineers in this generative AI driven world. First of all, a quick check. We are done with almost the 50%, 60% part of it. We are done with the roadmap. We're done with the case studies, and we're going to look at a few more final sort of things. Are you with me? Are you understanding? Are you looking at specific examples and what you can do at your work in the chat? Yes, no? Are you all with me? Is Shopify multi-agent system? It is a multi-step agent, but not a multi-agent system. Most of the time I use for data convert into graph or pie chart. I have Salesforce developer, but I don't know how to use it. I was getting this by attending. Okay, understood. Just one time. Okay, understood. These are all the careers where we are seeing a huge demand come in. I show you the slide where there are a lot of jobs coming in. This is what the domains look like. A lot of companies are now looking for LLM engineers, somebody who can work with LLM, set up their own systems, LLM orchestration engineers. How can they work with LLM, set up those multi-agent systems and sort of build that orchestration layer? AI application developer. How do you build apps with GenAI? Have those multimodal features or whatever that need would be. AI agent developer, building specific and niche agent for specific tasks. RAG engineer, how do you set up your own knowledge base inside your own organization and enable it to everybody for hundreds of other reasons. AI toolchain engineer, what is a toolchain engineer? Somebody who understands what tool is right for what kind of activity. For example, a very close example is a project manager. Which resource to use for which task in terms of expertise, and how do you keep cost, right? And in most of all of the mastermind, I think in most of the one till the time we have done so far till last week, right, there was one question that kept on coming. We spoke about an accelerator. We already gave you an head start on what exactly is an accelerator. It's a 14-day program. You get access to a live learning with you, a sort of weekday structure where you spend about 3 hours every day from Monday to Friday, and at the end, Saturday, Sunday, you spend about good 8 hours for 2 whole weeks. But a lot of you asked for, is there something longer? We may not be able to spend time on, we may not be able to spend time on weekdays, and we don't think we will actually like to spend more time than 14 days in a longer duration. And we thought, why don't we build one? We have everything that's required. We have mentors from people who are building these AI apps. If you are going to use solutions from Adobe, from Microsoft, from let's say, companies like Google, we have already people who are working and building those solutions who we have as a mentors. We already have taught a good number of tech professionals and helped them upscale not only their productivity, but I have helped them build real products which have gone and sort of brought them promotions. And we have helped people from companies like Microsoft, students from Microsoft, Google, Novartis, and a lot of other ones sort of build real-time applications, right? So as I said, this was a complete roadmap to become an AI native engineer. Every level, if you consistently spend time, will take you a good 3 to 4 months to achieve that. A five sort of level roadmap, easily about five was about close to 20 months is what you should expect, along with ending up and sort of utilizing everything, all the skills together, right? So what do we have in store for you is this. There are definitely two paths that you can take from here. Our team will send you the roadmap, will send you the examples, and also link of each of the case studies that we discuss. So you have a real example and you can start building and looking at solutions that you can apply in your companies, right? But definitely, right? Most of the things, as I said, as Outskill we do is completely for free, almost 95% of things. But we also have a way where we teach people through our programs, and we never had one for AI engineers in a longer term. And we already had one for people who are non-tech professionals, but that doesn't suit tech professionals or people who are wanting to transition to tech roles in an AI first world, because this has just become easier and faster. So, want to learn for yourself? We have shared the roadmap with you, as I said. And if you want Outskill to teach you, this is what we have in store for you. We are launching an extensive 6-month program to help you become top 1% in the AI first world, right? Which is a Gen AI engineering fellowship. Now, what exactly is that? We believe that doing things is better than just learning things, and it definitely is. We have seen that through Mastermind. Even if we send you recordings, some people already say, I've never even looked at it, while you promise us to do that. So, a place where you learn from the leaders who are building AI products, the ones that the world is using, a place where you meet fellow disruptors, people who have at an average of 20 years of experience, where you work with them, people who are head of engineering, people who are senior managers in their own domains, and you work with them to build real solutions. And at the same time, a place to learn by building and not listening and not just looking at a few blogs or YouTube videos or just trying out a few tidbits of new tools, right? This exactly is what the program is. All the 5 levels that you see is a 1 month structure. The last month, the 6 months, is where we do a capstone project where we combine everything that we learn in 1 month and we build an enterprise grade ready to launch application. And at the end of it, I'll tell you what comes. It comes a demo day, right? But this program completely is not for beginners. It is for people who understand and have some basic understanding of programming. Python basics are required. If you don't have Python or any other programming language, it's completely fine. But if you are someone who's looking to transition into tech, it's open for you as well. You just have to sort of put a slightly more effort, right? But this is not for beginners completely, right? And how does this work is this, right? If you cannot believe, or if you don't believe that AI is changing the world and how we work, period. Second, if you cannot commit to at least 6 hours a week, the sessions majorly are on Saturdays and Sundays, 3 hours each. And if you cannot commit to at least 6 hours, this is not for you. And as I said, this is not for beginners. So this is not for students who are looking for getting a degree or apply for jobs. You have enough and plenty of time. We'll send you the roadmap. If you need help, you can reach out to us at some time as well. We'll give you that direction. And second, if you don't believe, if you have not understood anything in the roadmap, if you have not understand anything as to how AI is changing the world and your work today, right? Not tomorrow, not later. This is all the roadmap looks like. Roadmap to become a Gen AI engineer. Each of the level is 1 month, and the level 6 is where the capstone project hits, which is the 6 months. Right now, let's look at the detailed curriculum to sort of do a deeper look. Right, we'll also share you so that you have access to this as well. Right, this is how it looks. We start with a base camp so that everybody who has an understanding of basic programming can really catch up very quickly, or people who don't understand programming at well and are willing to understand, they do a catch up before we start with the first level, right? Where we get introduced to the structure, we understand developer environment, everything that we need to do in terms of setup, writing and execution, basic Python. We understand everything about Python. We understand everything about fast API, Streamlit, Gradio, and also we build a basic web app to test how sort of frequent are you. And all the sessions for Indian participants are at 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST. And for everybody who's out of the rest of the world, the sessions are from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 Eastern time, right? And then every level, first level, we go from week 1 to week 3, text, data, and LLM foundations, Hugging Face models, LLMs, prompt engineering, and chatbot. Each sort of session is a 3-hour session. The program is completely 100% live, and we spend that time over 6 months for you, right? When we get to RAGs, we look at building the retrieval foundation, advanced retrieval evaluation and chatbots, RAG for tabular data, multimodal AI. We get to encoding modalities and real world architecture. We get to everything. We get to introduction to agentic AI MCPs. We get to building AI agents with Crew AI, LangGraph, building AI agents with Agno, free data, and a few more, right? Getting into details of it. And at the end, when we reach the fab end of it, we get to building a capstone where you build an AI app. You sort of not only build it, you sort of do everything from end to end. You design the UX journey, you design the UI and UX, select the tech stack, architect a full solution, you implement a CI/CD pipeline with GitHub Actions, you deploy and make it available to the world, right? It's exactly, once again, the 5-step roadmap that you looked at, right? Now, there are few people who have been part of this experience and have sort of showed some outcomes, and I'll share you those. Who are those people, what they have done so far, and how they are going to be relevant here, right? So we'll come to that. On top of the 5 roadmap levels that you saw, it also includes deep dives in specific niches, right? Which is the need of the hour, and we saw that coming up. So the whole 6 months program also includes SLM and its architecture, which is what SLMs are, small language models, why they actually matter versus LLMs in terms of cost, latency, age, transformers, attention encoder, decoder, cache, and MOE variance. What are the trade-offs, right, in terms of params, context, quantization? As an outcome of this module, you will be able to choose an SLM for a use case, on-device, server, hybrid. You'll be able to explain a core transformer pieces and the deployment application. At the same time, you'll be able to map latency, cost targets to model size. It also improves evaluations of RAGs and cloud evaluations, right? What actually Raga's matrix and workflows are for RAGs, faithfulness, answer relevancy, context, precision, and recall. How do you evaluate each AI model in terms of if they are performing as per your expectation, if they are the right models for you to sort of keep on working with them in your early stages or can scale it as well, right? As an outcome, you can stand up a RAG eval with Ragas and interpretation scores. You can run a cloud native eval jobs with Vertex, Azure, and Bedrock and compare models. And at the same time, you can also bake evals into iteration loop so that you constantly are not only setting up evaluation system at once when you are implementing AI, but a constant feedback loop that goes behind. How do you fine tune your models? How do you fine tune your SLMs? How do you sort of do data labeling, tokenization? How do you sort of work with overfitting regularization, LR schedules, eval during training? How do you work with serving implications of full FT versus adapters? Right? And definitely concepts like LoRa, QLoRa, adapter config, target modules, and single GPU training and memory savings, right? As an outcome, you can run end-to-end TRL fine-tune on a SLM. You can track loss matrix and pick best checkpoint, can export and serve the tuned model, and also can implement LoRa training on commodity GPUs and can compare full FT and LoRa quality costs and serve multiple heads-on one-ways model. It also includes understanding and building for production grade agent reliability. How do you understand failure of models, right? Tool errors, loops, timeouts, caps. How do you sort of handle and work with that? If your agent or system is working with millions of users, every second can lose you but so much money, right? Tracing and observability, setting up those guidelines in terms of security, understanding open source, understanding security, understanding compliance, and building for that, and adding those limits, retries, and robust error handling, can an ability to trace debug with Langsmith or adding guardrails, and at the same time can write unit integration tests for agent workflows. And finally, deployment on not only system that we teach, but across the board on AWS Bedrock and Microsoft Azure, right? How do you work with Bedrock, FM access and guardrails, knowledge bases evaluations, How do you set up orchestrating multi-step GenAI agent flows via step functions, event-driven serverless patterns with Lambda for agent tools, and at the same time, how do you build CI/CD for GenAI applications, adding offline evals to PR checks, building testing package in Docker, and sort of deploying these cloud run systems, nightly evals and human in the loop approvals before production. As an outcome, how are you able to wire CI pipelines to run LLM RAG eval suits automatically, shipping a containerized service via GitHub Actions to AWS, and operating an iterate, evaluate, deploy loop, iterate, evaluate, deploy loop safely for them, right? And finally, how do you scale these GenAI services horizontally and vertically? Horizontal scaling and distributing agents. How do you scale inference at the same time, which includes auto scaling, batching, multi GPU use cases, OpenAI compat layers? How do you work with distributing agent architectures? We learned about multi-agent system and agent, but there are micro-agent, multi-step agent, there are queues, orchestrators, and how do you work with scaling your vector DB as and as an outcome can also auto scale model serving, break an agentic system into independently scalable services and size and tune vector search throughout latency, right? Agent performance optimization, definitely this is already sort of the part of the fellowship where once it is set up, once it is scaled, how do you sort of keep a check on the performance of it? How do you switch serving stack and measure throughout gains? How do you sort of apply prompt caching? How do you sort of deploy a basic router to reduce spend with minimal quality jobs? LLM routing, one of the recently sort of floated words which is coming into existence, right? And definitely, these are the things you will learn. But who are the people you're going to learn from, right? They are the best in the AI space. Most of them are building productions that you're going to use, right? We have Sagar, who's an AI researcher who is ex Qualcomm and ShareChat. Ramanathan, who's a data scientist at SLK. He was also as one of the leaders in Target. Vishnuvardhan, who is an AI architect currently. He was with Airbus very recently. Harshit Tyagi, who's a founder himself, built a product called Top Signal AI and was with Whiplane. Bhavishya Pandit, AI engineer, works with IBM, ex Rakuten India. Manjeet Singh, director of PM, Agent Force by Salesforce is what the team that he works on. Devich Bajaj, who's data and applied scientist, works on Copilot at Microsoft. Ishan Sharma, who's an ML engineer at Adobe. Sandeep Teki, AI researcher and scientist, was using now is a consultant, used to work with Amazon very closely. Sivaram, who's AI solutions architect, worked with Amazon publicists and also Microsoft, right? And definitely, this doesn't end with just sessions on the sort of weekends. You also keep on getting more mentors as guest master classes with some of the early adopters of GenAI who have been building products in shape, right? The top highlights of this program: you get hands-on learning. 100% of the program is live. You get a supportive community. At an average experience, as I said, is 18 to 20 years of people who join in. So most of the people are right into what they are doing and are at the right positions to give you their advice. Expert guidance from mentors that we onboard, and also making that availability of teaching assistants who are there with you throughout your learning journey, wherever you get stuck, right? Multi-level support. Now, here is exactly the complete structure of the program looks like. Online onboarding, which is the base camp, which I took you through. Phase one is a learning phase where we go from level 1 to level 5. Phase 3 is demo day in Bangalore. Once you sort of finish the phase 1 with sort of 5 months, you sort of finish the phase 2 with capstone project in the 6th month. If your project gets selected, you get invited to a demo day in Bangalore, which we do in partnership with Google for startups, right? Where you get a visibility, where we give you that stage to sort of present yourself as an AI engineer, your product or yourself goes to thousands of people offline and a sort of a couple of thousand people online, right? It's a 6-month program completely online with a demo day coming up in Bangalore. And you get a chance to not only demo your products, but also meet, right? Once again, as I said, the program is not for beginners. Basics of programming are required. If you're looking to transition, be aware that it might require a slight more effort from your side in the beginning, first month. It is designed for those who already have skills. This exactly is what is a generative AI engineering fellowship, right? But that's not going to be directly something that you can come right into. The pricing for this generative AI engineering fellowship is 3,95,000 rupees. But what we are doing is this. You won't find a single payment link to join this program because For this 6 months of program, we always keep it very curated, and we handpick every single participant that comes in. And we believe in curating a community of driven individuals, which is why everyone goes through a 40-minute one-on-one interview before being accepted. So what is the process looking like, right? My team will drop a link in the chat to book an interview, right? It is a 40-minute interview. What happens in that interview is that you speak to someone who's a program advisor, somebody who has contributed in building this GenAI engineering fellowship, who sort of gets on a call with you. You sort of do that 40-minute interview with them. If in case you are selected or considered, your application is accepted, you are considered for a scholarship and counseling, and you get your acceptance letter, right? And in case if you get accepted, you are considered for a flat 50% scholarship. If the pricing is 395, you are considered for a flat 50% scholarship based on these four criterias. Professional excellence, what are you doing currently? Have you worked on some interesting projects? Academic excellence, are you a PhD? Have you written a few papers or any sort of tests? A few, I think our program advisor will give you more information. Or if you're already a learner of Outskill in some capacity in any other accelerator or any other programs with us in a longer sort of commitment, or students, we see less than 5% of people who are students who come and apply for this program, but we only take people who are not only just studying but are doing a lot of things and building real-time projects, and have already done a few things on the part. So if you block your interview, if you appear for an interview, and if your application is shortlisted, you flat receive a 50% scholarship based on one of the criterias, and then an acceptance offer is rolled out to you. So if the pricing is 395, you get a flat offer of 195, right? What exactly we do in these 40-minute conversation is this: we understand your background and exactly your professional experience. At the same time, we understand what is your goal. Are you looking for any tangible outcome over the next 6 months? What actually is the outcome that you would want to commit that time, and will you be able to do that? So the third thing is, will you be able to commit to 6 to 8 hours of time every week, not only for learning but also an additional hour to connect and help the other community members? For example, if I am a data engineer, I am working on something and I get stuck with front end, and I already have someone who has experience in front end engineering almost for 15 years. So our community will match you up with that person who will be coming on board and giving you that help, even if it's that out of the syllabus, right? While we are going to learn AI and become AI native engineers, there may be some core functionalities which may not be covered, and that's where community comes in, and that's what we check in this 40-minute conversations. And at the same time, we don't only look for somebody who just want to learn. We look for actually people who want to gain any tangible outcomes out of this, right? We try to follow a near 90% completion rates for the 6 months fellowship, and if you cannot dedicate the time, we want to be upfront, and only when you think we can help you and we think you can be benefit is when your application move towards mentors, and that's when it gets accepted, right? We also have a special 10% additional scholarship for all women candidates. So in case if you are a woman, you block an interview, you get selected, you not only get a flat 50% discount based on the criteria, you also get additional 10% scholarship on top of that, right? This is our way to sort of appreciate women's sort of becoming and sort of leading the tech world, and that's our way to sort of do that. Who are you going to be meeting? This is the panel of interviewers whom you will be meeting, right? You'll be meeting Bharat, who's an associate director growth at Outskill in engineers category. You will be meeting Karthik, who's a growth manager for engineers category. You'll be meeting Bhargav, who's basically a man behind all most of the AI projects that come from Outskill. He's a lead AI projects and product manager. And most of the times he's shipping products now more than engineering team. And you'll be meeting me. A lot of you would be meeting me. And as I said, I'm head of community and GTM for engineers category. This is how the demographics looks like, right? In engineering fellowship so far, that this is not going to be the first batch. Definitely we have done a few pilot versions of it, and this is how the data looks like, right? Almost 35% of people are core software developers, about 15% of people are core engineers or engineering background. There's about 10% people who are product managers, another 10 who are tech entrepreneurs. We have people from data consultants, DevOps and security, technical sales, solution architect, everybody who's in and around tech or wants to transition to tech. What is the experience looking like? Almost 31% of people, more than 20 years of experience. 10 to 20 years of experience is almost 50%, 45, 40, 50, 60, 75% of the cohort is over 10 years of experience. And you have a bunch of mix at 5 to 10 years of experience at 10%, and another 15% who have less than 5 years of experience. What you can do, we have exactly 35 slots available for tomorrow. The link is in the chat. Click on the link. What you will see is a page, right? Fill your name, fill your details, make sure to give your LinkedIn profile as well. So anybody who's speaking to you and can understand beforehand who are you, what do you do, and can sort of have that productive conversation. And at the end, you can choose two options. You will see an option of with code or without code. With code is what AI engineering fellowship is for. And if very few of you, in case if you think I don't want to sort of get into the engineering field, maybe I'm suited for a tech, non-tech track of it. We also have a non-tech version available in terms of this, and there's a without code option. And if you select that, somebody who manages sort of the non-tech version will come and speak to you, right? And that's how it sort of works. What are the start dates? In case if you get selected, we have a batch starting in March. The specific dates we start the batch is in a third week of the month of March, and we start one batch every quarter, right? So this is going to be the first batch that we'll be starting this quarter. We've already done about 3 batches of this, interestingly, and we try to keep the batches very small. We try to keep this with minimum 150 people. The time commitment, once again, is 6 to 8 hours every week, so that our mentors can keep on spending the time with you, almost hand holding you for 6 months to take you to the conclusion that you're looking for. 7 to 10 p.m. are all the sort of timings. You get all the recordings. You get the projects every week. You have a project that you need to work on top of that, and you have a guest masterclass coming in as well, right? What exactly our learners feel, right? Before I get to this, let me show you a few people who were able to actually see some input, right? So let me play 2 or 3 very quick videos, about almost 30 seconds. Meanwhile, you can take the time, click on the link and block your slate right now. Okay. Here's basically Saravanan. He was part of a fellowship. Let's look what he has to say. Let me make sure my sound is shared, and yeah.
This program helped me to bring back that glory period, right? It has helped me to bring back skills required for AI. Truly, I appreciate that. Hi, my name is Saravanan. I'm part of EAP C2 batch. I work for Geo as a AVP. One of the thing is about the awareness of AI. I try to inquire different programs. I joined this one as a generalist program. Then I came to know that you have an engineering thing, which is what I was looking for. That was really good, and I think the content was appropriate for me, and it helped me a lot. Basically, I think this is one of the very focused program I could say. Be it the coordinator or the mentors, right? I believe they have really been helpful. Any technical queries or anything like that, they were able to help me a lot. And my peers are also really helpful. They're all working professionals. They have that actual knowledge what the industry wants. So that way I felt, I think, rather than a very theoretical one, I think it was more practical, and it was really beneficial a lot.
Yeah, so this was Saravanan from Geo. Let's hear from Manju very quickly.
Post I took this particular course, even at the office, I started, developing my own personal project. This is Manju Pandit. I love to teach yoga and meditation, and on a professional side, I work in supply chain automation. And I personally started my own 3 different projects. 2 of them are AI related, and I'm really, looking forward for the completion and make it, impactful for my company and also for the, people around me. I really like the enthusiasm, each of the mentors they bring into the table, and lots of them have a deeper experience, and they have like a real passion, whatever they are into it, they are practicing those technical skills, and they're able to present it, and it is very engaging, and also we could apply it for our real problem. Post I took this particular course, even at the office, I started developing my own personal projects.
So here was someone from Target, and just in about first month he started building a lot of his own projects. Who's this?
Hi, my name is Abhinit Mishra. I work here in Bangalore in a retail company, Tesco, and I'm a lead software developer. First thought which came to my mind, not getting left behind in this race of AI. The landscape is changing in technology world. For example, in our workspace as well, the AI adoption is the new buzzword. How previously when I joined, I used to write a code. Now that has completely shifted. Outskill gave me the confidence how things can proceed if something I have to ship out in general, like how it can happen with vibe coding. Everyone is talking. When someone is talking, okay, what is RAG? Earlier it was like you just watch it something on a video of on a plural site or something, but here it's like more on hands-on. I have tried things on my own. The confidence and the skill which enables me to get better and be AI friendly and become better as a developer. It's like maths, you cannot just get the theory. Did have doubts before, so from where to start, where to begin. So Outskill actually helped me bridge that gap to give me that confidence.
That was Abhijit. I think this is one last that you guys should hear, and then we'll get to it.
After my cohort with Outskill ended, I actually took some of the skills that I learned in this particular training and I applied it in my work. And I ended up building a product, wrote around 90,000 lines of code, all completely vibe coded. I am Abhinav Anand and I work in Walmart. I work there as a principal engineer and I have been working as a software engineer for last 2 decades. Middles were quite good actually. I would love to give special mention of Siddharth and Ramnath. They both were quite helpful. I had my own ideas about how to work with generative AI. When I came to Outskill and when I interacted with the mentors, I came to know about some more things. So the thing is, you might be 90% good, but the additional 10% you get from the mentor. Actually, I'm able to understand the impact that GenAI is happening. You know, developers need not fear GenAI. That is the moral of the story. If you adopt GenAI and you have the right kind of skill set, you will be able to create unimaginable things.
This is basically all the videos were shot at a demo day that we normally do, as I said, at the end of the the program, when everything comes together, right? And this is a place where people from generalist and engineering both come together and sort of share what they have built, and it goes off to not only people but to bigger platforms like Google. They some of them start to sort of explore partnerships with them as well. So that's what happens, right? The link is still open. What you can do is, for the next 30 seconds, take this opportunity to block a call, and it normally takes about a good 1 week for us to go through the process and get it done. So make sure, in case if this is the right fit for you, the best thing is not to go, and this is not a program application, this is an interview for this. So even if you feel that, oh, I don't want to sign up for the program, I would recommend for you to appear for an interview. Use this as a consultation call to understand where you can implement AI in your work. Everyone whom you're going to meet are people who have built products with AI, have coached a lot of engineers in the last couple of years, and you can use that as an opportunity for that 40 minutes to have that productive conversation and take that direction. Okay, so I'll play this last about a good 2-minute video, and then we'll come to the questions. Okay, my team will drop the link one more time. I think it's already there. Make sure you block it before the 35 specific slots for tomorrow fill out. And yeah, we are already taking about 20 more sales for this, 20 more enrollments and 20 more admissions for this cohort. So make sure, if this is the right fit, make sure to just appear and see if this is the right fit. Okay, let's look at this one.
We already are in 2026, so I think everyone needs to have some sort of basic AI knowledge.
The man on the street has actually no idea what AI can do. But it's been a very positive learning experience for me at the moment.
You have to be a very committed person who wants to just complete deep dive into this and make it happen. Afterwards, the reward is all yours because now you have built the skill.
What Outskill had shown as a curriculum resonated so well with me, and I thought, why not I invest 6 months of my life into this? This was the key to the lock that I was looking for. Brilliant decision, one of the best investments that I have made.
And in between, I actually took the mastermind and I was blown away by it. I was totally pumped. I said, like, I gotta really do this course. It's been tremendous, and this is just the beginning. I'm taking our ad agency actually 100% AI.
This last 6 months have been incredible, very exciting. Every week was something new. And I was like, oh my God, I can't get behind because something else is coming. I would tell them to get a seatbelt and get ready to go for a ride of their life.
Been a VP of marketing in a startup for 18 years. I'm an early adapter of AI. Then this mastermind, the free mastermind session was offered by Weidoff. And then I went there and then he said, I'm going to launch a program. Then I subscribed.
And I was able to build a ChatGPT in a weekend. Like, I'm not a developer. I don't have a computer science degree. And here I am able to build things. And so I think for me, that unlocked it. This was going to be the future, and I'm glad that I did. It felt that they cared about us and that they really wanted us to succeed.
Me really accelerate in AI, so I've been looking all around on the internet. I came to a cross path with Outskill. Really adds value. It's very practical. You get hands-on experience on what you have to do, which helps you really become relevant, in particular when you operate in spaces like mine.
But there's a great volume of information that you get taught to as a student. It made me very interested in creating those agentic AIs and making those custom agents. Obviously, as the days go on, the content becomes a little bit more technical, a little bit more intense. Whether you are getting into creating your own apps, whether you're a marketing person, whether you're a content creator.
Yeah, so for me, just the vast amount of knowledge that I was able to learn in such a short period of time, like, you know, some may say, well, 6 months, that's a long time, but when you're doing this just on weekends and you got a full-time job, you know, just the breadth of the material that was presented, I found, you know, very helpful.
I've been working for 20 years as a data scientist, and lately I've been developing apps. It's always stressful when you have to bring what you have done for so many nights. But this is a great experience to be able to share and to showcase what we've done.
Extremely intense, and you really need to be on the ground and do the things. But when you do it, then it's just tremendous what you can learn, and you can really see how you're growing.
I think the experience with Outskill has been pretty amazing in the sense that, you know, I joined when I had very limited knowledge of the different platforms that were available in the market today.
The highlight was when they went into automation and started showing us the products like N8N and everything around that. I think that was, for me, that really resonated, and for me it was really exciting.
1000% more confident than when I started. Outskill really forces you to do your best within the shortest period possible.
Not only helping with my career, but also in my, you know, everyday civilian life. I think getting to the actual heart of real problems.
I knew about AI, and I can truly say today that I am an AI generalist. It pushed me to the limits.
I believe that now AI can give everyone a chance. With this program, AI Generalist, everyone have the same chance to become a star.
Hand on the game, we are not playing the same. No, we're not looking to change. Hand on the wheel.
Out of 10, how much would you rate?
10.
10 out of 10?
Yeah.
Great.
I'd give it a 9.
Pretty high up to an 8 or 9.
11.
12. Lovely.
I already recommended it to some friends.
You know, you asked me about if a friend reached out. Like, if a friend reached out, they might ask, like, oh, where did you learn your thing? And I'm like, I go to outskill.com, find the link, and I just send it off to them.
9.8, 9.9.
A 9 to 10. It's 10.
Definitely 10 on 10.
Well, I would just have to say boom.
When I'm on drive, never lose control.
Just have to say boom. Okay. Perfect. Folks, you can drop in your questions in the chat about anything to do with roadmap, about anything to do with case studies, and about anything to do with in terms of that, right? Yeah. Which companies? Clearly visible. This is a AI journalist video. AI generated video. Okay. Yes, the B rolls were generated with AI, but the rest of all the humans were real. We didn't use humans for generating their B-rolls. We have the skills, so we did that. But the testimonial is completely honest. You can talk to those people. You can find them on LinkedIn. We can send you the links. You can talk to them on a call or on a link or whatever this is. The question is, I'm a first year undergrad with computer application mathematics at DU. Kindly tell me what my next step should be. Future ready with AI. How can I do that? A roadmap and the next step. We just gave you, Suyash, the roadmap. Exactly, that's what you need to do. I should take. I was not able to relate much in this workshop. I was a hard bouncer. Yes, it takes time. That's why we say it is not for students completely, right? So take on this roadmap, understand what specifics are there in terms of every level. Start with beginner levels of all things, then start to sort of get to each one of it. There's one more question coming in. Access to all the tools and subscriptions required during the course are included in the fees, or will those be additional? Amar, you won't have to 95% of the time, you won't have to spend anything additional in a course. Only when you would want to build something of your own as a project, you will be spending that. Mostly we use open source tooling, so sort of do a lot of testing and then guide you on what tools to sort of use and go deeper on into it, right? There will be some places where you'll need to spend, but that's what we'll provide as a group deal. So that shouldn't be a major challenge. Normally, everybody till the time so far we have done, nobody has spent any additional money on top of the tools that come along with it. Okay, I'm a UX designer, 10 years of experience. I absolutely have no coding knowledge, and we are still using AI tools to accelerate our design process, and we don't really need to have or apply coding in our day-to-day work. Exactly, exactly. UX designer is not an engineering role. That is why you don't need that. But only using tools to sort of perform the job is not going to be that, right? When you get into AI, it's not only about using that end tools. It's basically having control over the full workflow. If you are, let's say, a UX designer, as you said, with 10 years of experience, are you just giving a prompt to Figma or like a chat GPT and building that front end? Or what is the full process of it? For example, we have built one of a tool in Outskill, which is a landing page management tool. What basically happens is we have created almost 300 landing pages over the last 5 years, right? There are different types of landing pages, and we know exactly for what products uh, which work. But today, we don't need a front-end engineer to code the landing page if the template is already available. So we have built our own CMS platform where people can just select, this is the landing page we want to replicate, and then the whole page gets replicated. And we basically just change a few things and copy and sort of do the link, and it is ready. We used to take almost 2 to 3 weeks in building a landing page and shipping that out. Today, we do it in under 2 hours. And that is one of the use cases, right? Okay. So is this kind of hard coding knowledge required to be learned by me? There is no hard coding knowledge required. You need to understand basics of programming. Now, why that is important is also because this is built for engineers for sure, right? Because we are not going to wipe code a lot of solutions. We are going to work with AI to assist AI to code and orchestrate AI to understand where it is going right, where it is going wrong. And your job is only to orchestrate and review, right? And whenever it goes wrong, giving that context of what are the kind of things it should do, right? For example, you should be using a different tool stack and AI is building it in a different tool stack. So how do you maintain that consistency and build the code through scale, right? Shaji, what you can also do is the same link which is available, click on that link, and when you sort of book, oh, perfect, you have done that, then I think you should be set for it, right? The team should be able to help you out in an interview. And somebody is asking, is there any preparation required for interview? There's no preparation required. As I said, there are three things that will happen. A person will get on a call, possibly me, Bharat, whoever that is, right? Will understand what is your background, what are your motivations, what are your tangible outcomes, what are the projects you are handling currently, and in 6 months, where do you see that? Will you be able to spend that time? Will you be able to actually achieve that outcome? And you are sort of motivated to do that. And if we could support you in doing that very quickly and easily, right? I'm a self-taught engineer with basic coding knowledge, looking to learn AI generation and coding for my agriculture consultation company. Can I qualify for this program? I can't confirm that right now, Kayla. The best thing you can do is block an interview and have that conversation and give more context on what exactly that is in terms of how much of understanding you have about this, and then our team will be able to suggest you the next steps forward. I'm an accountant. Is how is AI to make our work easy? For an accountant, normally you would do a lot of an accounting, doing a P&L check, matching the balance sheets. AI can help you do that if you have your systems in place, you have your SOPs in place, right? Roadmap doc, we'll share the roadmap doc once the session is done. We'll send you the roadmap along with the case studies with that. We'll also send you the schedule of, how we have made. So you can follow that as well. So that's easy for you to follow that, right? Got it. Interesting. We also covered multiple case studies by Zendesk, Salesforce, and others. There a okay? So basically, the question is there a repository of all case studies or similar platforms where we can go and research and see if we can build something or suggest our bosses so that we can build something as well? Currently, there is none. We are building one ourselves. So once that is ready, we'll send you that. But we'll send you these 5 case studies that we covered and a few more that we were also sorting and researching at the same time. So you should have about good bank to sort of get started. And once we build that library of case studies, we'll send that as an email access as well, right? So that is it. Got it. Everybody, thank you so much. I think there are a few more questions though. Thank you so much for staying back. We were expected to go for 60 minutes and questions, but we are almost at 10. Thank you so much for being here. I hope the roadmap helped. Did the roadmap actually help? Can we launch a poll and check? Give me 1 second. Do we have a, yeah. Folks, the poll is live. Actually, I'll relaunch it again. This is not the right one. Is this the right one? Okay, got it. No. Okay, got it. Folks, this is the poll that you see. Tell me in terms of how was the session, right? In terms of delivery, what exactly did I did in terms of overall pacing? I know I'm going to be rated slightly lower there, but how do you rate the quality in terms of the depth and content, in terms of the roadmap that we sort of spoke and covered about? How do you rate the session overall in terms of scale of 5 to 1? 1 is the lowest and 5 is the highest. And if you have any feedback, you can type it down and we would take a look and we would improve, right? That's basically how it is, right? If you have any other questions, I see a few more coming in. I think definitely about the specifics of it. Our team is also answering on the chat, right? That's a very interesting question. Somebody's asking, how is custom GPT similar or different to a RAG? Imagine this, right? Custom GPT is a basic chatbot that okay. Sorry, folks. Somehow my network went off and I am back again. What I was saying is the difference between RAG and a custom GPT is basically when you want to understand what a RAG functionally does in terms of concept, custom GPT is a good test to understand, give that context, give that resource, and then do that. Right? But at the end, when you want to build something of your own, which is large amount of data set, ChatGPT hallucinates. It does not, first of all, can even take that large amount of data. So how does that process happen? It can't. That's when you go and build a RAG of your own, which is much more curated and has access to your own data. Perfect. That was it. The team will send you the link to sort of do that one more time before we end the call right now. Yes, and we'll also send you the resources over email so that you get it, right? You still have next 4 minutes in terms of blocking the interview with us, and then we'll sort of close out for the day. Okay. Any other thoughts? Do drop down in the chat so that we can look at. I see most of all questions are answered. Folks, do rate us on the poll so that we know, right? I see about 40% of people have rated. I have about, okay. Has some feedback coming up as well. Definitely we'll look at that. Perfect. Perfect. I think most of the things are covered. Thank you so much for staying back for this long time. And I really appreciate that. We'll see you in another our AI initiatives. And I hope you learn, you keep building, and you become an AI native engineer in the near future. And in case if you need any help, do reach out. We'll help you to guide and sort of give you that direction. Okay. Thank you so much. It was lovely hosting a bunch of people, and I always enjoy taking sessions, teaching. This one was more about giving you that roadmap, and we are going to do a few more as well. So make sure if you are available, do join, and yeah, let us know. Make sure we are able to make our journey easier to become an AI engineer. Okay. Thank you, folks. Bye. You can type it in the chat. Thank you and bye, so that I know you're still listening to me if you are. And I see the reactions already coming in, so thanks for that as well. Okay. Bye. I'll see you in interviews, whoever is going to meet me tomorrow. Okay.